Raleigh, North Carolina, a city like any other, home to businesses, schools, fast food, and religion. God seems to be everywhere around here, and until I heard Raleigh referred to as part of something called the Bible Belt, I wasn't quite sure why.
The Bible Belt is basically, when you're dealing with a population that it's very, very committed and very into their religion.
Coined in the early 1920s by American journalist H.L. Mencken, the Bible Belt is a term used to describe an area in which socially conservative Christian evangelical Protestantism is a dominant part of the culture. They're not kidding. You can't go 10 feet around here without a church staring you in the face. There are even churches across the street from churches. God is advertised more than Pepsi around here. From schools to churches, it seems like loving God is just as important as being an American. But that's what's so great about America. We can pray to whoever and wherever we want. But if you want a different perspective on God and religion, you may just have to dig a little deeper. "7400 Falls of the Noose Road is the address of one of very few synagogues in Raleigh. A humble, somewhat hidden little building, the Lubavitch Center is home to Congregation Shrei Israel and Hillel School. Founded in 1979, its members hail from diverse backgrounds, creating a warm, inviting environment for Jews of every practice. On the surface, this tiny, inconspicuous building doesn't seem like much, but what goes on inside every morning is an extremely intimate and powerful experience. Bathed in glowing orange light, the members of the congregation rock and sway as they quietly read from the pages of books called Sidurs. Dressed in mandatory traditional garments, they are few, but strong.
During the week, we'll get anywhere from 7 to maybe 15 people or so. And on Shabbat, we'll usually get in 40, 50 range, plus children, so I figure it ends up being about 60, 70 people. Amen.
The rabbi, a powerful presence, stands at the head of the service.
Amen.
Draped in a scarf called a talis, and wrapped in a leather band called tefillin, he leads the group in prayer.
The idea of the tefillin, when we start off our day with tefillin, is to where the tefillin are placed on the arm, right opposite the heart where the emotions are. It's on the head where the intellect is, and we bind it around the hand where the action is, where the action comes from. And the idea of that is that simply that we have to bind our intellect, our emotions, our actions, we have to bind our whole day with godliness, with acts of kindness and goodness and those kinds of things.
Rabbi Herman agreed to let me film him and his congregation as long as I would agree to wear the tefillin.
The idea of putting on tefillin is that inside the boxes there are scrolls. The Shema is written certain passages of the Torah written on it, and passages that talk about the mitzvah of putting on tefillin. All of our talents and abilities, we bind it to God. We utilize it only for positive things, not for negative. We have to remember that the purpose of all this is to serve God and be connected to Him.
My Hebrew was a little rusty, but the experience is something I'll never forget. It's exciting to live in an area where so many people are passionate about God. It lets you know that faith is still alive and that there's more to the world than war and MTV. But there's more to the religious community than what simply lies on the surface. And if you take the time to look and have an open mind, you might find there's a different type of prayer down there, below the belt. If you want a different perspective on God and religion, you may just have to dig a little deeper. 7400 Falls of the Noose Road is the address of one of very few synagogues in Raleigh. A humble, somewhat hidden little building, the Lubavitch Center is home to congregation Israel and Hillel School. Founded in 1979, its members hail from diverse backgrounds, creating a warm, inviting environment for Jews of every practice.